To restrict a multi-billion-dollar project, you target its weakest link. In May 2025, a policy decision intended to stall a rising aerospace program ended up forcing the one breakthrough China needed to achieve total aviation independence. For decades, the global commercial airliner market functioned as a duopoly. Airlines effectively had two options: buy from Boeing or buy from Airbus. Then came the C919. By 2026, the aircraft secured nearly 1,500 cumulative orders, establishing a legitimate presence in a market long dominated by the West. But the early C919 models harbored a critical vulnerability. The entire airframe relied on a single imported propulsion system. Despite its massive order book, the lack of a Chinese-made engine meant the entire aircraft program remained subject to the shifts of foreign policy. That dependency rested on the LEAP-1C engine. Co-developed by a US-French joint venture, it was the only certified power source for the C919. In May 2025, citing export license reviews, the United States abruptly suspended the supply of these engines to China. The impact was immediate. China's aviation sector was targeting 75 aircraft deliveries for 2025. Instead, they delivered only 15. The suspension lasted only 1 month. Fearing the loss of its share in the world's largest aviation market, the U.S. Department of Commerce reversed the restrictions and resumed exports. The brief cutoff left a permanent mark on China's strategy. It proved that as long as the engines came from abroad, the entire C919 program could be grounded at any moment. Beijing responded by accelerating the development of its own high-bypass turbofan, the CJ1000A, completing official technical reviews years ahead of the original schedule. This visualization compares the core performance metric of both engines, the thrust-to-weight ratio. The imported LEAP-1C sits at 3.3, while the domestic CJ1000A reaches 4.5. This higher ratio allows the CJ1000A to generate more power with less mass, enhancing overall aircraft operational efficiency. In practical terms, that efficiency leads to a 7. To prove its reliability, the engine survived over 6,000 hours of extreme testing, including physical simulations for severe icing, bird strikes, and water ingestion. With technical reviews complete, the engine is on track for civil aviation certification by 2027, with mass installation targeting over 50% of the C919 fleet by 2028. Clearing these final testing thresholds secures the propulsion lifeline, allowing the aircraft to be produced entirely within domestic borders for the first time. A single C919 sells for $90 million, but the imported LEAP engines cost $28 million, over 30% of the total price. Because of these costs, early deliveries resulted in a financial loss per unit. Replacing the LEAP-1C with the domestic CJ1000A eliminates overseas supplier premiums and import tariffs. As production scales, manufacturing costs drop, widening the profit margin. Removing the engine supply bottleneck also allows the C919 production base to reach its planned capacity of 50 aircraft per year. Lower engine costs shift the C919 from a subsidized state project into a commercially viable competitor in the global market. This shift changes the calculation for international buyers. Previously, airlines hesitated to buy the C919, knowing a U.S. ban could cut off engine supplies and render their fleets inoperable. The CJ1000A provides a fully localized configuration. This allows third-party nations to purchase the aircraft without the risk of fleets being grounded by foreign sanctions. Even though the U.S. pledged to maintain normal engine supplies in 2026, the brief 2025 embargo permanently damaged trust in the reliability of Western aviation supply chains. With its own propulsion system, China has established itself as an autonomous third player in the large civil airliner market. By briefly restricting a competitor, the U.S. inadvertently accelerated the development of the technology that gives the C919 its first real chance to challenge the global duopoly.